and budget for there, you know, so, yeah.
Okay, we are back live.
Okay. Okay, this meeting is back in session. Let's move on to,
Budget amendment?
Yeah.
Where we're at?
this.
Okay. All right, so if you all go, we're working on this process. We're gonna get some page numbers and it's gonna get better. But if you go into, right after our NIST cybersecurity framework, the next page is gonna be, cover letter for consideration for ordinance 2025-10, budget amendment for 24 and 25 general fund. Just a note, each year in September, the commission adopts a budget for the general fund in which project revenues equal to projected, or projected revenues equal to projected expenditure. After the fiscal year is closed out, we find out whether revenues exceed expenditure or not. This normally takes a couple months. It's best to wait until mid-year to incorporate any surplus or undesignated fund balance into the current year's budget. The commission has directed staff to maintain the $1 million reserve undesignated fund balance, and anything above that can be incorporated into our current budget. Currently, for this FY 24-25, we have approximately $318,465 of undesignated fund balance over and above the $1 million reserves. This is a combination of revenues exceeding expenditures along with undesignated fund balance from other previous years. I have included a spreadsheet that shows the adopted budget with those line items that need to be amended in yellow. The additions are for a variety of reasons. Workman's comp insurance lines are because they were an estimated cost and they were underestimated. We also need to amend professional services, which our CPA and auditors are paid. We are currently paying a couple of years of auditing that overlapped. And so that's what has increased that line item to a significant amount. If you all want to go through the budget, we can go through there. We have, if you go down to the totals page, which kind of tells the story, we have the $318,465 we put into City Hall expenditures account for a total carry forward. The city had approved a citywide wage increase of 7%, and that cost around $85,000. We also have included in current active budget include building repair and maintenance of $60,000, which we are currently working with to fix the building and do a couple of things here at this building. The remaining carry forward for us to talk about tonight is $173,010. We have a need, and I have given you each department and what the deficit for that department is. And not all departments filled 100% deficits. We didn't need to, such as city manager's office. The overage on that was for a couple of reasons: city manager's search and also pay of the interim that was here prior to my arrival. Finance is the other largest item, and again, that's going back over and paying for multiple years of audits and overlap from previous year, and that includes a deficit right now of $78,000. Actually, I'm sorry, $57,000. That line item is not equal. We are asking for $70,000 to be put into that for the remainder of this year to pay for the audit process through the rest of this year. They are almost done with the audit, as in my city manager's report. There's only, I believe, 6 or 7 items left, and Steve has been working very hard to get those back in. There's also some emails and some other information in my city manager's report regarding our audit and the process of where we are. So I'm asking for you all to approve 2025-10 and allow us to move these funds into our current budget as you see them on this spreadsheet, on the general fund total carry forward and request spreadsheet.
I have a question about this. If somebody else has a question, I mean, they should go first, but I do have a question.
Do we have any other questions while Commissioner DeVito is determining her question?
Okay, go ahead. Thank you, Mayor. Was my understanding when we had our workshop on Monday, the paperwork that we were given then said that after the deficits were covered in the different departments, there was an amount of approximately $62,000 that could be used in the 26 fiscal year as carryover funds. Correct. But that was the amount remaining after all the deficits had been met in the different departments. Is there no longer, and $62,000 remaining? Did you need more money to cover the deficits between Monday and today?
No, ma'am, and I'll explain that. It boils down to, in the process for the workshop, we had identified specific line items that did not encompass the totality of the deficits. And we were proposing to the commission that we would have an amount of revenues and an amount of expenditures through the rest of the FY. And we were gonna offset some of those deficits by that time. Steve and I had an issue getting in and finding how to properly put this into the budget, and we called another finance director of another city. They directed us that what we need to do is put the entire funds into the deficits. And when there's a reconciliation next year, when you're auditing, we can actually figure out what our deficits really are, or if we were in the positive, and then we would find out what a true carry forward would be at that time for next year. We're not anticipating a carry forward.
Well, we directed you to do that
Yes,
at that workshop.
correct,
You were directed to put that into this year's expenditures.
yes, and it was.
We did.
But I'm sorry, what I'm hearing sounds like two different things. What am I missing? The $62,000 was supposed to go where?
We instructed him to put that either in a miscellaneous item in the current year's budget,
Right,
or find someplace else within the current year's budget. It had to go somewhere.
Right.
And that we were not guaranteed we would get that. And so
Correct.
put it in the
right,
next year's budget would not be smart
right.
in a
But,
nutshell.
okay, but that was my
Because we
understanding.
didn't know that we were gonna have that even as we go forward.
Right, but the last I heard was what you said, that we gave direction that it should be put in a separate line item in the amendment to the current year budget.
Okay, that's a little different than what it was, as you were asking, did you put it into next
Right.
year's budget?
No, that it potentially could be available.
It could.
There was
Right.
$62,000 that was not needed to cover deficits, and it would be separate, but, so what I am wondering is, I was expecting to see it in a separate line item.
Where'd you put it?
We put it in all of the.
So you spread it
deficits.
out?
We spread it out, yes.
I don't like that, because,
And if you go to the spreadsheet at the bottom, for each department, we gave you exactly the amount of the deficit and the amount requested to add to that department to take care of that deficit. Not all takes care of totality of deficit, but for the most part it does. We were originally covering the large items on there and the workers' comp, but there were other needs, and from a better standpoint of accounting purposes, it was best to put them in here, go ahead and fill the gaps, and have reconciliation next year and accounting next year when we go in and do our assessment and audit and figure out exactly what we have and don't have.
okay, well, Mayor, if I could,
Yes.
what concerns me is, we're saying basically we're $173,000 in deficit.
Currently, but we still have amount of money coming in. We have revenues and we have expenditures. That was given to you on the previous spreadsheet, or on our meeting this last week. I've then taken that out of this and revised it to show that we were gonna go ahead and use and spread the funds throughout the entire budget wherever there are deficits.
I thought it was going into a miscellaneous item also. So
Well, I
then
did
where did
too.
Julianne tell you, when you talk to Julianne?
She concurred that this
That
was
her
also the best
recommendation, to
practice.
spread it out and not
Correct.
put it into a miscellaneous.
Correct. Steve, would you like to talk to that at all?
Well, that's Julian.
That is what Julianne had told us to do, and as well as another finance director. So that's the best accounting practices.
I mean, to me, we usually put the money in that's needed.
Well, it sounds like that's what they did.
Well, okay, so it sounds like, I mean, the way this turns out, it sounds like we didn't really have $62,000 of unallocated money.
No, we purposely had left that in our thought as being a buffer originally and not putting all the money into the account and having some sort of carryover buffer. That was not the best practice to do. And we have a need to take care of some of these issues. A lot of these problems were just unforeseen costs this last year. And
$173,000 meant for some.
almost 70, I believe, we budgeted in the finance, it was, we're at total expended right now, $95,000. And we budgeted $38,000. That was unforeseen, and that has to do with audits.
Okay.
And that was because the audit billing piggybacked on this year from last year.
Correct. And there will be correction too on some line items. I've asked for you all to approve 34,000 going into the city, total city manager budget. There was allotted in there, 9,000 in a line item. And I can go up to that to see exactly which that line item is with the account number, but we expended $87,000. And that was because of the searches, that was because of pay for interim city manager. I believe that was Brillhart. This is definitely not plugging
Yeah,
up.
but at the same time, we didn't have a city manager salary, so those two should have crossed each other out.
And we have a line item up at the top that can, yes. But for the purposes of putting this money in this budget and amending it, finding out what we have next year, that's the plan. Right now, we put it in here and cover it, and it's where it should be.
Numbers add up. All right, trying to calculate this.
My copy is, maybe I've got it.
Because that's $104
Yeah, I'm very concerned about this, but, one concern I have is that, I guess, we have some time flexibility to adopt this, but we have absolutely no time flexibility to adopt our fiscal year 26 budget.
We don't really have any time, this has to be done by the end of the year, by the end of the fiscal year. So we really don't have time flexibility, so we better figure it out now. This is our only option, this is our only opportunity to figure it out, so we better figure it out. Now, Commissioner Lori, you're saying some of these are not.
I'm trying to add it up in my head, and it just doesn't seem to be adding. I've done it some through.
It sounds to me like you can do it one way or you can do it another way.
Right.
So what are the consequences? You know, tell me the difference, why you do it this way versus the other way. Just tell me why it's so.
I was gonna say, don't look at me.
Yeah.
I
No,
just
look
wanna
at
make
them,
sure
look
it's
at
right.
them, ask them. He